Hello, this is TheBenCrazy, and if you haven't heard the news yet, Motorsports Games, who is the publisher for the NASCAR Heat series, is partnering up with Studio 397, the makers of rFactor. So in this video, I want to go over why this is such big news, as well as go over what to possibly expect for the next NASCAR game. I will also put some driving time into rFactor 2 and see how it feels, and try my best to describe the differences compared to other sims. So first, I want to go over rFactor and its engine, because as an oval racer myself, and I'm guessing the situation is the same for most of you watching, I have little to no experience or knowledge of rFactor, as the go-to for oval racing has always been either iRacing or NR 2003. So the main thing you need to know is out of all the driving simulators out there, rFactor is the most realistic simulator, and there's a couple reasons why there's a case for that big, bold claim. First is their dynamic track system, something that has been broken in iRacing for over a year and a half. What their dynamic track system does is throughout the race, rubbers and marbles will build up on the track over time, causing you to search for a faster line or avoid parts of the track not used due to marbles that are built up. Another cool thing is that if it rains in the sim, it washes away the rubber, making the track green again. These are also not scripted events that happen in the game, they're completely dynamic. Next is their tire model, which again, iRacing has been struggling with over the last couple years. rFactor's tire model is regarded as the most realistic due to the tire flex and contact simulation. It also features tire wear, but also tire damage. So for example, if you lock up the tires under braking, it will flat spot the tires and cause the car to feel unbalanced and bad to drive until you pit for freshies. Bad driving technique can also punish your tires, overheat them, or cause them to wear unevenly. Another reason is the modability of rFactor. Unlike iRacing, which is locked down and prevents anyone from adding mods, rFactor was built from the ground up specifically to be modified. It is the first sim with dedicated mod packaging system, and it's integrated into the Steam Workshop. Now, whether or not that will be the case for the NASCAR game, it's up in the air. And probably the most obvious reason it's the most realistic sim is rFactor Pro. rFactor Pro is what the real NASCAR teams use to build their setups and get the drivers' time behind the wheel due to NASCAR's restrictions preventing them from testing. Recently, because of the pandemic, teams also have not been able to practice or qualify at most of the tracks. The reason the drivers are so prepared and the teams have the setups dialed in before they even make a single lap is because of their sim that uses rFactor. So now that you know what rFactor is and the features the sim offers, what is the current state of oval racing in rFactor, and what can we expect from the next game in terms of physics? Well, first of all, the Cup cars were added to the Steam Workshop for free on July 31st and has been getting regular updates. Looking at the description though, it's pretty obvious now to see that they have been prototyping the Cup cars in rFactor 2, possibly to showcase it to Motorsports Games, because why else would they spend 16 months to develop it, using extensive wind tunnel testing, engine dynamic data, and create 24 different tire compounds for a free mod. Anyways, after getting it downloaded and all set up, it's a great experience. I tested it with the Indy Oval, the Indy Road Course, and a custom-made Martinsville. The car's handling, along with the force feedback sent to the wheel, is just flat out better than iRacing or anything else I have experienced. I could really feel the edge of grip in the car, and it was way easier to push the car to the max, but also way easier to go over the max and shake the tires to a slide. The tires wear it out over time as expected, and wore out even more when you pushed it too hard, especially on road courses. If you slide on exit or flat spot the fronts going into the turn, you can really feel it for the rest of the run. So as far as the physics side of things, it's about perfect. Now, what do I not like about rFactor 2 that Motorsports Games will need to fix for the next NASCAR game? Starting off, the UI for rFactor 2 is terrible. You thought iRacing had a bad UI? Try navigating, selecting a track, selecting a car, making sure the car has the right tire compound selected, setting up the session. It's just a terrible experience. Next is the AI. It's pretty obvious that it was built for road courses instead of ovals, because when I tested it on the Indy Oval, on the first turn, they kept the throttle down and bounced off the outside of the wall. I even slowed down, let them pass, only to catch them after the next turn and flew right by them on the straights. If they're going to focus on single-player experience, they're going to need to drastically improve the AI and rebuild it from the ground up for ovals. The next thing that needs fixed is the crash damage in physics. It's just not great with bouncing and climbing the walls with the AI not reacting to you at all and smashing into you. It's just not that great. And lastly is the rulebook. rFactor does have cup rules as an option to turn off and on, but it's just broken and not correct. Just so many things wrong with it, but again, the game wasn't built for it, so it's another thing that will need to be made from the ground up. So along with those issues, Motorsports Games has a couple of other hoops to jump through. rFactor, let alone the rFactor engine, has never been ported to consoles. The next NASCAR game will be the first, and it's going to be a major hurdle for Motorsports Games to get the game running well on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, so it'll be interesting to see what the quality will be like. Another hurdle is getting the game to feel good on a controller and getting the driving assist correct. The game not only has to cater to hardcore sim racers, it has to have an easy entry point for novices to be able to work their way up. So like most of you that heard this news, it's very exciting to be getting a NASCAR game that is focused on simulation again. It's going to be a tough road for Motorsports Games to get the engine ready with everything they need to do. I just hope that they're able to execute it and make a good all-around NASCAR game. So once again, I'm TheBenCrazy, and I will see you later.